This is our pig Memphis right here. He's a pot-bellied pig. And
Cookie actually is a poisonous cane toad.
This is Samson.
Some people prefer pocket-sized pets they can tuck into their bags, while others have a fondness for creature companions so large they could effortlessly outmuscle their owners. Consider the family that adopted a colossal hippo, or one that has a huge Tegu lizard. Join us as we discover 40 biggest and most unique pets people actually own. Number 40. Giant black throat monitor. You know how we humans love a challenge? Well, some of us have taken up the task of keeping the giant black throat monitor as a pet. No small feat. These critters are native to Tanzania, growing up to a jaw-dropping 7 feet and weighing over 60 pounds. You need a virtual playground for them, a massive enclosure, complete with climbing spots, a pool, and basking lights. Despite their size, they can be quite mellow when raised properly. Former heavyweight boxing champion Mike Tyson owns a sizable black throat monitor, Kenzali, often featuring him on social media. Similarly, Clint Laidlaw, host of Clint's Reptiles YouTube channel, owns and frequently features Gus Gus, a rescued black throat monitor, in his reptile education videos. Number 39. Giant African land snail. So we've all heard of people keeping snails as pets, but did you know some of these snails are giants? We're talking about the giant African land snail, a creature so large and distinctive, you can't mistake it for anything else. They can grow up to 8 inches long. As pets, they're rather low maintenance, but their invasion potential is alarming. In countries like the USA and Japan, they're banned because they can disrupt the local ecosystem. If you're thinking of keeping one, remember, they can never be released into the wild. It's illegal and harmful to the environment. Number 38. Biggest pet rodent, capybara. If you think you've heard it all, wait till we tell you about the capybara, the world's largest pet rodent. Hailing from South America, these adorable animals are like oversized, semi-aquatic guinea pigs. They're herbivores, love to swim, and are super social. They even communicate with sounds like barks and purrs. However, owning a capybara is like owning a small horse. They're huge, need a ton of space, and love company. Melanie Griffith, who had a capybara named Valerie as a child. Not your typical pet, but certainly one that would keep things interesting. Number 37. Monster-sized goldfish. You know goldfish, right? Those small, cute creatures that are a staple in most aquariums? Well, hold on to your hats because there are goldfish out there that grow into monsters. Picture a goldfish that's over a foot long and weighs more than 3 pounds. Andy Hackett, a British fisherman, caught an enormous orange 67-pound carp, potentially the world's largest, in France in 2021, nicknamed the Carrot. In a similar case, Raphael Biagini, another British angler, landed a 30-pound bright orange goldfish in France in 2010, releasing it after a photo op. Furthermore, Burnsville, Minnesota, found several large goldfish in Keller Lake in 2021, presumably dumped by pet owners, prompting a citywide plea not to harm native ecosystems by releasing unwanted fish. Number 36. Giant lion. These big cats are insane. Lions can take down a gazelle that weighs as much as 3 grown men. Besides being the kings of the animal kingdom, they're super territorial and social. They like hanging out in groups called prides. So, no, they won't be your cuddly house cats. The thing is, you'll need a fortune, a huge space, and the knowledge to even think about keeping one. Not to mention, in most places, it's downright illegal to have a lion as a pet. Seriously, only 6 states in the US even allow it, and that's with a ton of conditions. British conservationist George Adamson, based in Kenya, raised multiple lions, notably Elsa from the book and movie Born Free. Number 35. Kodiak bear Jimbo. Let us tell you about Jimbo, the colossal Kodiak bear that once lived in New York. This bear was epic. We are talking 1,500 pounds and 9.5 feet tall. Born in California to captive parents, Jimbo was taken in as an injured cub by the Orphaned Wildlife Center in New York. There, he became the big, cuddly buddy of Jim and Susan Kowalczyk, the founders of the center. Sadly, he passed away in 2018 from liver cancer. But here's the thing. Kodiak bears are not meant to be pets. They're not exactly safe and illegal to be kept as pets. Number 34. Huge Tegu lizard. Tegu lizards are 4.5 feet long and 30 pounds. Tegus are South American lizards known for their brains and their, doggy behavior. They can recognize their owners, respond to their names, and form bonds with humans. Siobhan Harkness, owner of Pet Encounter Cumbria, has a Tegu lizard, Echo. In June 2023, Echo escaped, sparking a large volunteer search and national media attention. Echo was found safe 2 weeks later. But wait! Before you rush out to get a Tegu, remember that they are not exactly beginner pets. They need a lot of space to move around, and they eat a lot. We mean they can chomp down 10% of their body weight per week. They're also pretty picky about their living conditions. They need their basking spot just right, and they need their skin hydrated, among other things. Number 33, Alaskan Malamutes. Okay, let's switch gears and talk about Alaskan Malamutes. These dogs are big, loyal, and super playful. They have a thick double coat that's as soft as a plushie and a tail that curls over their back like a feathered fan. George Lucas, creator of Star Wars and Indiana Jones, had a Malamute named Indiana, who influenced the creation of the character Chewbacca and the name Indiana Jones. But remember, they need loads of exercise, training, and socialization. And if you're thinking of getting one as a guard dog, think again. These friendly giants love everyone, including strangers. Got a cat or a bunny at home? The Malamute's prey drive might make cohabitation a bit tricky. Number 32, Yuki the Huge Wolf. Meet Yuki, an enormous wolf dog who's become a bit of an internet celebrity. This gigantic canine buddy lives in an animal sanctuary in Florida, standing tall at 5'4" and weighing 120 pounds. And here's the exciting part. He's not just any dog, but 87.5% gray wolf, 8.6% Siberian Husky, and 3.9% German Shepherd. Poor Yuki was saved from a kill shelter in 2008, and since then he's been loving his life in the sanctuary with his mate Bella and the friendly volunteers. However, life's been a bit tough for Yuki recently as he's been diagnosed with blood cancer. Number 31, Medusa the Pet Snake. Now imagine that snake is over 25 feet long and weighs around 350 pounds. Meet Medusa, the longest snake ever kept in captivity. This reticulated python is owned by Full Moon Productions, Inc. in Kansas City, Missouri, and lives in the Edge of Hell haunted house, where she gives visitors quite the thrill with her enormous size. Being a python, Medusa has a pretty big appetite. She enjoys dining on rabbits, hogs, deer, raccoons, and squirrels, sometimes eating a whole 40-pound deer in one sitting. And she's not just a land creature. Like most reticulated pythons, she's also a pretty good swimmer. Back in 2019, Medusa turned 15 and is still going strong. Number 30, hyenas. Hyenas, ever thought about having one as a pet? Nico Roets in South Africa raised hyenas like dogs, letting them sleep on his couch and eat at his restaurant. Meanwhile, in Indonesia, Abdullah Sholeh treats his hyena Dinka as family, living and sleeping together in a small cage for over 10 years. Now, some might argue that hyenas can be tamed and domesticated, provided they're raised from an early age and with utmost patience and care. But here's the kicker. That doesn't mean they're good pet material. Remember, these guys are wild animals. They have complex needs, both socially and physically, which could be challenging to meet in a domestic setting. They pack a serious bite, too, which could lead to severe injuries. Number 29, giant tigers. Picture a tiger. Majestic, beautiful, and oh so tempting to own as a pet, right? But let's pump the brakes. Tigers are wild cats, not the cuddly house variety. They're capable of taking down a 500-pound antelope and need extensive, secure enclosures and lots of meat. They also carry a high risk of attacking their owners or others nearby. Joe Exotic, former owner of Oklahoma's Greater Wynwood Exotic Animal Park, had over 200 tigers and big cats. He's now serving 22 years in prison for animal abuse. Many people crave the thrill of owning something exotic and unique, but tigers belong in the wild or spacious zoos and sanctuaries, not in suburban backyards. Number 28, crocodiles. Crocodiles aren't your typical house pets. They're huge, powerful, and potentially dangerous, requiring expert care and a vast amount of space. On top of that, they can live for many decades. Now, there are people in the Northern Territory who keep crocs as pets, like Nicola Collins, who owns a rare white croc named Fat Boy. Despite being fed with a long stick and sleeping 10 meters away, Nicola says fat boys got a lovely nature. While it's possible to keep certain species of crocodiles as pets with the right permit, most experts would recommend against it. They're better off in their natural habitats, living their best crocodile lives. Number 27. Tibetan Mastiffs. Originating from the Himalayas, Tibetan Mastiffs are large, and ancient dogs are known for their intelligence and protective nature. Chinese millionaire Zhang Ao made headlines in 2011 when he purchased a red Tibetan Mastiff named Hong Dong for an unprecedented $1.5 million. With their athletic bodies, flowing manes, and deep barks, these guys are nothing short of majestic. They're generally gentle and can make great family pets with the right training and socialization. They need lots of space and exercise, mental stimulation, and human interaction. They're also not the easiest dogs to train due to their strong-willed personality. Just be prepared for a commitment of 10 to 12 years, the average lifespan of a Tibetan Mastiff. Number 26. Giant Centipedes. If you're into the more creepy-crawly side of the pet world, then maybe you've heard of giant centipedes. These monsters can reach a whopping 14 inches long. Not only that, but they've got venomous fangs they use to paralyze their prey. They're found in hot, tropical parts of the world, and while they might be a hit among the exotic pet crowd, they're not everyone's cup of tea. They are not recommended for households with children and definitely should not be handled. These guys are fascinating, no doubt about it, but they're also not a pet to be taken lightly. Number 25. The Flemish Giant. The Flemish Giant rabbit can reach up to 4 feet long and weigh a hefty 22 pounds. They originally hail from Belgium, where they were bred for their meat and fur. Annette Edwards from England owned Darius, a rabbit that holds the Guinness World Record for being the longest at 1.29 meters and 22 kilograms. However, they need more food, more space, more attention, and they have health issues to watch out for, like sore hocks, obesity, and rabbit snuffles. On the other hand, they're smart bunnies. They can be litter box trained. They're also patient when being handled, although they're not fans of being picked up due to their size. Number 24. Giant Spiny Stick Insect. You might have seen a stick or a leaf move and then realize it was a giant spiny stick insect. These critters are native to Australia and have an extraordinary ability to camouflage themselves as leaves and thorns, making them almost invisible to predators. And guess what? They can be pets. However, they require a spacious and well-ventilated enclosure, fresh leaves for food that need to be replaced every few days, and a certain temperature and humidity. Their males and females look different, with the females being larger and spikier. They can even reproduce without a male. If you're up for the challenge, these unique creatures can be an interesting pet. Number 23. Rhino beetles. Rhino beetles are horned wonders which are herbivores and are some of the biggest and strongest beetles around. They can lift up to 100 times their own weight. They need a vivarium with 2 distinct parts, one filled with compost and crushed wood, and the other with branches and bark. They like their temperature to be around 25 degrees Celsius in the day and 22 degrees Celsius at night, and they need a high humidity of about 85 to 90%. They mostly feed on bananas and can consume quite a lot of it daily. So having a rhino beetle as a pet might sound out of the ordinary, but for those with a fascination for insects, it could be an intriguing venture. Number 22. Giant hermit crabs. When you think of hermit crabs, you're probably imagining those cute little critters that fit in the palm of your hand. But these behemoths grow up to 8 inches long. These dudes are pretty chill. They're sociable and inquisitive, which makes them surprisingly great company. And they can live for about 15 years, so you're in for the long haul with your crabby companions. You're going to need an aquarium, at least 10 gallons, preferably more, and their diet is pretty eclectic. From fish pellets to fruits, cereals, and even coconut, these guys are all about variety. And remember, they're always growing and shedding their exoskeletons, so they need empty shells to upgrade their homes. Number 21. Giant cane toads. A giant cane toad are absolute units that can grow up to 10 inches and weigh in at a staggering 4 pounds. Håkan Forsberg of Sweden is the only known person to legally own a cane toad, specifically a male named Prinsen. According to the Guinness World Records, Prinsen was the world's largest toad, weighing in at 2.65 kilograms and measuring 38 centimeters long. These toads are packing some deadly toxins, especially for your other pets. If your dog or cat messes with them, things can get pretty ugly, really fast. Giant cane toads will gobble up pretty much anything that fits in their mouths, from small birds to other toads or frogs, and even snakes. Make sure they've got a sweet pad too, with a large tank, a water dish, and places to hide. And keep that lid secure because these bad boys are notorious escape artists. Number 20, shoebills. Now we have a bird that looks like it walked straight out of a prehistoric era, the shoebill. These guys are absolutely majestic, with a gigantic beak shaped like, you guessed it, a shoe. But here's the deal, they are not pet material. They can be found at San Diego Zoo, Ueno Zoo in Japan, or Paradise Zoo in Belgium. Shoebills are impressive, standing tall at around 5 feet and rocking an 8-foot wingspan. Their beak isn't just for show, it's deadly sharp and perfect for snacking on fish, frogs, and even baby crocs. One more bizarre thing about them? They poop on themselves to keep cool. Definitely not something you want in your living room. Honestly, these magnificent creatures should be admired from afar. Number 19, Komodo Dragons. Picture having a dragon for a pet. We are not talking about a fire-breathing, sky-soaring creature out of Game of Thrones, but close, a Komodo dragon. Now, as badass as owning a Komodo dragon sounds, they're definitely not pets. First off, they're endangered and protected, so it's illegal to own them. These scaly beasts grow up to 10 feet and weigh over 150 pounds. They're practically dinosaur-sized. They're also extremely powerful with bites that can deliver a lethal cocktail of venom. And if that's not enough to make you reconsider, they eat pretty much anything, including other Komodo dragons, so it's better to not own them as pets. Number 18, giant chickens. Check this out, giant chickens, like actual big-as-your-dog chickens. The Jersey Giant, for example, can weigh a whopping 13 pounds and strut around at a staggering 26 inches tall. They're like the friendly giants of the chicken world, super docile and even make fantastic pets. They also serve up some substantial brown eggs. The largest individual chicken on record is named Merakli and is from Kosovo, weighing nearly 17 pounds. But remember, keeping chickens isn't always a walk in the park. You'll need a secure coop, a balanced diet for them, regular vet visits, and social interaction. And don't forget, eggs, feathers, and their gifts for the garden need to be managed well, too. Number 17, grizzly bears. Now, before you even consider it, let us make this clear. Grizzly bears are not and should not be pets. There are rare cases where folks have raised grizzlies, like Casey Anderson and his bear Brutus. But even in these unique cases, the bear is still a wild animal and not friendly to others. These bears can tip the scales at a hefty 800 pounds and come equipped with jaw-dropping jaws and claws. They are a sight to behold in their natural habitats, not within the confines of a house, considering they are wild animals. Besides, keeping them as pets could land you in hot water with the law in many places. Number 16, giant leaf bugs. Now we have camouflage masters, giant leaf bugs. Looking just like leaves, they're also known as leaf insects or Phyllium giganteum. As far as unusual pets go, these guys are at the top of the list, owned by people like Richard Adams or Thidges. Keeping these deceptive critters as pets requires some specific care and gear. First off, they're all female and reproduce by laying unfertilized eggs. Size-wise, they can grow up to 10 centimeters long, but that's hard to spot when they're just like the foliage. Diet-wise, they have a taste for leaves from bramble, oak, and rose species. They need a warm, humid environment and plenty of ventilation. Number 15, bull Minar e Pakistan. This one's really going to raise some eyebrows. The biggest bull Minar e Pakistan is a record-breaking Brahman bull from Jamal Cattle Farm. This big guy was a star at the Sohrab Goth Maweshi Mandi in 2021, and it's named after a famous Pakistani national monument. It's one of the biggest bulls in Pakistan and a real champ at the Sibi Mela. Now, it probably goes without saying, but bulls don't make good pets. They're powerful, unpredictable, and can be downright dangerous. Even with extensive training, they need ample space and specialized care. Number 14, giant moth. All right, get ready for this. Giant moths. We bet you didn't think of these as potential pets, but some bug enthusiasts swear by them. So which ones make the cut for pet material? We've got the Akraga koa moths, for instance, that are real jewels. Literally, they're called jewel moths. Then there's the adorable Venezuelan poodle moth that looks like a stuffed toy. And let's not forget the rosy maple moth with its dense fuzz. These moths have pretty short adult lives. Some only last a few weeks, and guess what? They don't eat at all. They're on a mission to mate, and that's all they've got time for. Giant moths are exotic, but they're definitely not your typical cuddly pets. Number 13, giant tortoise. Who's up for a pet that could outlive you? Enter the giant tortoise. These majestic creatures can live up to a whopping 100 years or more. The Aldabra giant tortoise takes the cake in size. We're talking 550 pounds and 4 feet long. For instance, take a look at Alessandro Beccaria, living in the Seychelles with his 40-pound Galapagos tortoise. That thing is over 100 years old. Or consider Chie Eltagon from the Philippines, who's juggling family life with 2 adult and 15 baby giant tortoises. Let's be real. Owning a giant tortoise is like taking care of a small dinosaur. It's super cool, but not a walk in the park. Number 12. Giant hippos. Let's set the record straight. Hippos should not be pets. They're basically tanks that live in the water and on land, weighing in at almost 10,000 pounds. Oh, and they're not the friendliest either. In fact, they're known to be responsible for more human fatalities than most other wild animals. There was this guy, Marius Els, in South Africa, who thought he had this unbreakable bond with his pet hippo, Humphrey. But spoiler alert, Humphrey turned on him. Then there's Jessica, also in South Africa, who's a little more docile, but she's a rarity. Seriously, these magnificent creatures need to be in the wild. They're big, unpredictable, and super dangerous. Number 11. Super Fat Raccoon. Get this, a raccoon that's bigger than your average toddler. We're talking about super fat raccoons. Not a breed, but raccoons that have had one too many snacks. The king of this category was Bandit, holding the Guinness World Record for the largest raccoon, weighing in at a whopping 55 pounds. Sadly, his love for Pringles and Oreos was his downfall. Heart problems got the better of him in 2004. But a word of caution here. Raccoons, especially super fat ones, aren't the easiest pets. They're wild animals and can be a handful to keep. Aggressive, destructive, and potential carriers of diseases, they're pretty high maintenance. Number 10. Kangaroos. Let's hop right into our next peculiar pet, kangaroos. These marsupials are super cool and unique, but are they fit to be domestic buddies? Not quite. They're wild animals, not fit for captivity. Kangaroos also require a lot of room for hopping around and grazing, and on top of that, you're going to have to shell out for special permits, a starter kit, food, vet bills, and the list goes on. Anyway, there's this Alabama family who actually had 3 red kangaroos at home, called Rolando, Roxy, and Zoe. These guys were living the high life with custom-made t-shirts and diapers and frequent community outings. But remember, this is definitely an exception to the rule and not something generally recommended. Number 9. Corgis. Now let's take a look at a more conventional yet still fascinating pet, Corgis. These dogs are pint-sized, packed with personality, and unbelievably cute. You might have heard of the Queen of England's love for these fellas. She's had over 30 of them. Corgis are great for those who want a pet that's loyal, playful, and has a knack for pleasing their owners. But regular vet visits are also crucial, as they can be prone to health issues such as obesity and hip dysplasia. Want to know about a big deal in the corgi world? Meet Noah, the chubby corgi, who tips the scale at a whopping 59 pounds, almost double the weight of a typical Pembroke Welsh corgi. Number 8. Tarantulas. Here's one for the brave hearts. Tarantulas. Yes, these big hairy spiders can indeed be pets. They are low maintenance, interesting to observe, and quite exotic. But let us be clear, these are not cuddly pets. They can't be handled often as they have venomous bites that can cause allergic reactions. The care requirements for tarantulas are a bit different than your usual pets. You need to mimic their natural habitat with a proper tank, burrowing substrate, a hideout, and live prey for feeding. Tarantulas are quite solitary creatures with varying temperaments based on their species and individual personality. So, if you're thinking about getting one, make sure to do your homework first. Number 7. Samson the Huge Cat. Now we have Samson, a gigantic Maine Coon cat from New York City. This big guy weighs in at 28 pounds and is 4 feet long. He's larger than many domestic cats and even some wild bobcats. Samson is owned by a DJ named Jonathan Zerbel, who adopted him from his brother. And Samson doesn't just love lounging around. This big cat loves playing fetch, just like a dog, and even has his own carriage for transportation. Cats, including supersized ones like Samson, make great pets. They are low-maintenance, quiet, independent, and great hunters. Plus, they're good for your health and provide emotional support. Now that's what we call a perfect pet. Number 6, skunks. Skunks, the same ones notorious for their foul-smelling defensive spray, can actually be kept as pets. One of the largest types, the American hog-nosed skunk, can grow up to 2.7 feet long and weigh up to 15 pounds. Before you wrinkle your nose, let's remember that skunks are intelligent, curious, and playful critters. Sure, they can be stubborn and destructive, and let's not forget that aroma, but many skunk owners find their pets to be affectionate and loyal companions. Skunks need a spacious enclosure, a balanced diet, regular vet visits, and loads of social interaction. But despite these challenges, some folks are deeply committed to their unusual pets. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. One of our subscribers sent us this image, and we are very concerned. When going on a countryside trip, you expect to see cattle and grasslands, not this huge snake playing buddies with a man. Now, they can't go back to get more details, but that's where you come in. Can you help us find out more about this interesting duo? And what steroids has this snake been taking to be this huge? What is the largest and most unique pet that you have encountered? Tell us in the comments below. Number 5, giant pigs. Have you ever considered sharing your home with a gigantic pig? Well, someone did. Meet Big Bill, once the world's heaviest pig, tipping the scales at a whopping 2,552 pounds. Owned by Elias Buford Butler of Jackson, Tennessee, Big Bill was of the Poland-China breed. Sure, pigs are adorable, friendly, and intelligent, but they can also be quite a handful. Even the so-called mini or micro pigs can weigh anywhere from 75 to 330 pounds when fully grown. With their long lifespan of 5 to 25 years, you'll be in for a long-term commitment. They require space, a balanced diet, regular vet visits, and companionship. Number 4, hedgehogs. Now let's talk about a pet that's all about the nightlife, the hedgehog. These tiny, spiny creatures are nocturnal, which means they're most active when most of us are fast asleep. To keep a hedgehog happy, you'll need a large, escape-proof cage with plenty of toys, a wheel for exercise, and a diet of low-fat cat food and insects. However, hedgehogs are not for the faint-hearted. Those spiky quills can hurt if the hedgehog is scared or stressed. Plus, they're illegal to own in some places. Despite these challenges, hedgehog owners often share heartwarming stories of bonding with their prickly pets. Consider Shota Tsukamoto and his hedgehog Darcy, or Talitha Gurnis, and her world-traveling hedgehog, Mr. Pokey. Number 3, kinkajous. Our next unusual pet is the kinkajou, also known as a honey bear. These relatives of raccoons and coatis are native to Central and South America and are known for their long, prehensile tails. But living with a kinkajou isn't a walk in the park. They're nocturnal and can be unpredictable, meaning they could startle you with a loud noise in the middle of the night. Despite these challenges, they can be friendly, playful, and curious. You might be surprised to learn that several celebrities have shared their homes with kinkajous. Paris Hilton once owned one named Baby Love, although it did send her to the hospital with a bite. Number 2, polar bear. Dumas is the proud parent of a pet polar bear named AG. He scooped her up as a cub from a zoo in Sweden, and she's since made a name for herself starring in TV ads. However, before you start thinking about getting your own personal polar bear, let's pump the brakes. These are the largest and most powerful land carnivores on the planet. They're kings and queens of their Arctic domain, needing vast expanses of space, icy waters, and a steady diet of seals. The confinement of captivity can lead to all sorts of issues, including stress, health problems, and behavioral issues. Also, it's illegal to have them as pets. Number 1, knickers. Picture a creature so enormous that it couldn't fit in a slaughterhouse. That's knickers for you, towering at 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighing in at a whopping 14,000 kilograms. Knickers is owned by farmer Jeff Pearson in Western Australia. Cows as pets aren't your everyday choice. They need their space, tons of it actually, along with lots of food and water. And unless you have a barn or shelter to protect them from the elements, you can forget about it. Oh, and did we mention they poop a lot? It makes for great fertilizer, though, and keeps those pesky mosquitoes at bay. So, while not your typical pet, owning a cow, especially one as gigantic as Knickers, can certainly be a unique and rewarding experience. Just be prepared for a lot of moving around. Which of these pet animals just inspired you to get one? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.